Hello, and welcome. Happy Thursday to all of us, community. We are very excited. Another community event today on YouTube Live. All of you that were able to make it today, I want to welcome you and glad to have you all here today. And you see the title gave it away already today, Functions of a True Ban. So it's going to be a very interesting one, especially now that we have so many new community members in our community. It's important also to go full circle and also discuss on our really strong aspects that we have, our strong fundamentals, discuss them in detail and really highlight them. And this is what we're going to do today. Once more, welcome everyone that is able to make it today. We are very happy to have you all here with us. And let's, as always, acknowledge everyone that is here today that was able to make it. And then we'll get right to today's topic. So with that said, let me start right here with all of you. My great brother Theo says greetings and happy Thursday. My great brother Steve, dearest Queen, Mama Awino, and my wonderful BULLRUN family. I pray that all is well with you and yours. Excited to get this ban topic started. Let's go. It's a pleasure always having you in the community and reading your comments. Thank you very much, great brother Theo. I hope you and yours are doing great. Queen Lati is here as well. Hello, Queen Lati. Greetings, BULLRUN family. So excited. It's another day for learning. I came across an article which was indicating that the feds have tasks to complete. The most interesting one was of integrating crypto. Very interesting. Let me see your second comment here. Integrating cryptocurrencies with the traditional financial system to make it easier for us to the community to use cryptocurrencies for everyday transactions. Very interesting article. Let's get into this at the end and really get into more details. I will come back to this comment, Queen Lapi. It's a very interesting one, and thanks for sharing it with us, with the community. It's a great topic that we can discuss at the end. We have Queen Alice here as well. Hello, Queen Alice. Hello, Steve. Hello, Queen Mama and community. We thank God for another day. Looking forward to learning. We are blessed to have this wonderful ecosystem. May God bless our developer and the team. Thank you so much. All the blessings back to you too, Queen Alice. You are very much appreciated for your efforts and consistency as well. We have Queen Patricia here. She said, hello, Queen Patricia. I hope you're well. Greetings, family. Happy Thursday and happy new month. We are here again to listen to our devoted Steve. Thank you for your dedication. You have never missed an appointment with us. Stay blessed always. Queen Patricia, you must be a great accountant. I see you keeping record on the blockchain as well. It's a pleasure always seeing you around, Queen Patricia. You're also very persistent and committed to the community. So all the praises right back to you, Queen Patricia. We have Queen Nosy here as well. Hello, Queen Nosy. Greetings to every queen and kings on this platform. To our beloved Mother Awino, I'm always so grateful for everything you do for us as queens. Brother Steve, thank you for the tireless teachings. You're just as much appreciated, Queen Nosy, and you're very much appreciated for your efforts, your consistency. I also see you on all these community events. You never miss any of them. So thank you to all of you here that are with us today. So my great brother Cryptorizer is here as well. He's hello Cryptorizer. He says hello BULLRUN family. It's time to heat this session up with the true ban mechanism. Our founder Steve and Mama Queen Awino have built the community an amazing ecosystem. Let's go ban tokens. Cryptorizer is one of the older members with us, and I'm so grateful that you were forward thinking and created that beautiful banner for the banning mechanism. So thank you so much, Cryptorizer, for that. Very much appreciated. And absolutely, we always talk about liquidity, but we have, of course, other other futures as well that are just as important to really maintain and sustain the ecosystem, and banning is one of them. So we are going to look at this in more detail today. Queen Val is here as well. Hello, bull runners. What a way to begin a new month. Happy Thursday to our teacher, Mr. Steve, and our Queen Mother. So excited about the topic today, our very own utility toolbar. Beautifully said. And yes, it's a new month. It's a great way to start this new month. And I'm glad that we are all together on this beautiful day today. And thank you for your feedback, Queen Val. Queen Grace, hello, Steve, and the BULLRUN family. Glad to be here again, to be educated, informed, and inspired. Thanks a million times for everything. Thank you to Queen Grace. I want to also take my time to thank you as well for your commitment. There's nowhere that you're not found. You're all over social platforms. I enjoy reading your comments as well. They're very helpful, very educational. And when we scroll on our Twitter pages, we always find your comments there, and they're very helpful. So thank you so much for taking your time and always doing this great adding these great comments as well, and for your commitment and persistence and consistency. You're very much appreciated. We have Queen Serego here as well. Greetings, kings and queens. This is a Thursday to remember. To our Queen Mama Wino, to you, King Steve, we are blessed to have you in our lives. We are just as blessed to have you in our lives as well, and in our community just as much. You are so much appreciated. Thank you for your feedback, and thank you for being part of this session today. And as always, Queen Val has laid out here to our new members, you can join our community on Telegram. This is the link to BULLRUN Telegram. And then we have the Killer Whale and Survivor Telegram also here for you. And feel free, if you're new and you're not part of our community yet, feel right at home. We're happy to have you here with us today. Then my great brother Glenn is here as well. Greetings, BULLRUN family. Hope all is well. And thanks, Brother Steve, for another great life. Thank you too for always showing up, always being part of these community events. You're very much appreciated as well. We have Queen Patricia here as well. Hello, family, and Brother Steve. We thank God be an architecture. We thank God to be an architecture of our destiny. We embrace yet another fruitful day of enlightenment and education. We are starting to see the light. But yes. Bank of England already cut rates today. Yes. We'll get to this also at the end. That's very important. Yes, Bank of England cut rates down to 5%. We'll discuss that as well. I really appreciate these sharing the news like Queen Lathi did, and now Queen Patricia. It's great. Yes, these are great points that we can look at the end. Queen Mother Wino says, greetings, queens and kings. Excited to be here and looking forward to this eye-opening session of True Burn. Thanks, Steve, for all you do. You are very much loved and appreciated. Thank you so much, Mom. I can only give it back. There is no better partner I would love to be with than in this, running this, being part of this community with. And you are very much appreciated just as much. Also, you are very loved and appreciated. Thank you for all your hard work, your commitment with the queens. You're very much appreciated as well. My brother Dave is here as well. Great day to all. Let's get as much as we can before the true ban really kicks in. Absolutely. That's the point. That's the goal. The tweets are out. All of them are out. This is the Survivor tweet. We have the Killer Whale tweet. And also the BULLRUN tweet is about to go out as well. Thanks for these links, Queen Val. And then we have Queen Veronica. Hi, everyone. I am excited to be part of this great BULLRUN family. Very eager to learn. Welcome, Queen Veronica. It's a pleasure having you here with us. Feel right at home. It's always a pleasure to thank you for picking our ecosystem to help you, to walk with you through your crypto journey. And we have multiple sessions a week, so there'll be plenty to learn, and we enjoy learning together. Queen Mother Wino says, you don't exactly need to be fearless. You just need to understand that at some point, you will leave something familiar. and be ready to accept something really new that you have no clue about. Absolutely. Our aim should always to be ever learning, always hungry for more. Knowledge is king, knowledge is power, and this is what we strive for in the community. So thank you very much for your wise words of encouragement, Mom. And as always, Queen Val is always here to encourage us to engage with the like button and the comments. And this is very important as it will reach as many people as possible. And that's the whole aim, that's the whole goal for this. So let's all engage with the like button and engage with this video today. We have Queen Grace Favored. Always a pleasure having you here as well. We thank God Almighty for you, Steve. May God's perfect grace abound in all you and to the community as well. Thank you so much. I also see you often on Twitter and on social platforms consistently. You're very much appreciated for your commitment. Thank you for being part of this event today. You're very much appreciated. And then we have Queen Lanla as well. Welcome. Nice having you here as well with us today. Good evening, Steve and the community. Trust we are all well and excited as the future looks so great. We can only appreciate the efforts, Steve. All will never go unnoticed. Keep well, stay blessed. Thank you so much for your well wishes and your encouraging words. May it be well with you as well. Thank you very much for all your efforts that you put in, and thank you for being part of this session today. We have Queen Goleba with us here today. Hello, Queen Goleba. Hello, BULLRUN family. Let's go and hear more. Thank you so much for being part of this session today. We have Queen Evelyn here as well. Thank you, Steve. Always excited for Thursday. God bless you, Steve. God bless you too, Queen Evelyn. And thank you for being part of this session today. And then, of course, we have Queen Margaret, Queen Debbie here as well. Greetings, community. Greetings, my brother Steve. And I bless my Queen Mother, Mom Awino. I look forward to these amazing sessions. We thank you, my brother Steve, for your consistency. Thank you so much, community, for all your kind words. And Queen Margaret, you're very much appreciated for all your efforts you put in, for your commitment, for your leadership, your consistency. You're very much appreciated. So are you all, community. Thank you for all your efforts that you put in, your consistency. And it's just something that we can really, we are a humble community, but sometimes it's really good to be proud of our achievement, of our accomplishments, and to see how we are growing consistently, and not just in knowledge and in unity, but also in numbers. So we are very much appreciated for all the efforts you put in, the queens and kings within the community. You're all very much appreciated. Thank you so much for your kind words, for your uplifting and encouraging words. You're all very much appreciated. With that said, let's get to today's topic, as there is quite a bit to discuss, and I'm really thrilled to share these informations with you. And as we said at the very beginning, one of our futures that we always stress about is liquidity. That's one of the 4 challenges that we tackle in this industry, and we've been talking about that heavily, and we've embraced it, and we know much about it. But we have other futures within our ecosystem, within our mechanisms, that is just as important, and that we also have in our arsenal to share, or that also helps this ecosystem to not just remain sustainable, but to really thrive for years to come, right? And with that said, bear with me. Let me share my screen in a way that you'll be able to see what I see. And then we'll take it from here. As always, we always want to look at the bigger picture first. Let's look at the market. I'm sure all of us are familiar with this. We've been really looking at this. We see how since yesterday, after the speech, even though the Feds, they didn't directly say they can't do that. However, the hinting was very positive. And we'll get to this more at the end, because one of our community members, one of our queens, mentioned this. So we'll discuss it in more details at the end. However, needless to mention that the markets are down 5%, and there's just a lot of emotions going on right now with so many things around in the markets. However, this is part of it all. This is part of the journey. If we zoom out and look at the big picture, what we know is that the buzzword here is interest rate cuts, right? That's what we're all anticipating, and it's looking great. And that's what we'll discuss and close out with at the end, because one of our queens already mentioned it. So I'll save this for later. I just wanted us to look at the market on a broader scale. We are down over 5%. We're back to neutral as far as fear and greed index. And basically every cryptocurrency is down right now. So really there's not much to say besides there's a lot of emotions going on, a lot of anticipation. And also one thing that caused the market to really go down like this is the fact that a lot of people bet long or short. Long means they're betting that the prices go up. Short meaning that they bet that the prices go down. So many individuals who are betting that the price after the meeting yesterday, the Fed's meeting, would go up, they really lost heavily. And it was like over 360 million was literally drained out of the crypto industry within 24 hours, right? So these individuals were liquidated. Basically, they lost their liquidity in 360 million. That's a lot of liquidity removed from the industry. And this is why we see a drastic drop in the market cap. So with that said, I would like us to kickstart today's session. Like we said at the beginning, community, and if I may come back here again, we are a hyperdeflationary token. We often talk about liquidity, and that's very important because for trades and sustainability and stability, we need liquidity. However, another aspect that is just as important, and if you combine these two together, we literally now have a force to be reckoned with, right? Liquidity alone is great. However, it needs to be, we need another second component also, and that's the deflationary aspect of everything. And this is today's topic, functions of true ban. One of our futures that we have, community, is the true ban mechanism, right? And if we scroll down here just to make it clear, it's the banning mechanism, right? We call it true ban. And the reason why we call it true ban is because literally it's removing tokens from total supply. It's decreasing the supply, right? And this is why it's called true ban, right? Survivor and Killer Whale, they have also a banning mechanism. However, these tokens are stored in a wallet, right? Ban wallet that is blacklisted, so nobody has access to it. However, the supply still remains the same. We will look at this in more detail at the end so that it really makes sense, because today's topic is so important. We want to all be on the same page and really understand the significance of a true ban mechanism, right? But just so we're on the same page, what true ban means basically is with every buy and sell, 1% of the supply is being banned and removed from the circulation. Not just from the circulation, but from the total supply. That's important, total supply. We started with a 1 million in total supply, right? And through our true ban mechanism, if we look at Etherscan right now, we can proudly see that, let me refresh it. You see it went from 325 to 310. So this supply keeps shrinking, right? Before I refreshed, it was 325. Now it's 310. So this is what true ban is all about. The supply is being removed from the total supply, right? So that's just, so when we talk about true ban, I just wanted all of us to be on the same page and understand what it really means. This is a mechanism that majority, I'm not sure who has this, majority of especially the large projects don't have it, right? And we'll get to this. I just wanted us to understand what true ban is and highlight and show that we started with 1 million and now we are down over 31,000, and our max supply keeps shrinking. With every trade, it keeps shrinking. So that's just to set the mood, set the stage of what true ban is all about, and that's one of our futures that we have besides the liquidity, right? And also, so that we all just are aware of it, next week we're going to discuss staking. We're going to talk about staking so that we cover all of our 3 futures, right? We've been always talking about liquidity. Now today's true ban, and the next week we'll talk about staking, right? All about staking. So TrueBAN, let's look at this. Why is TrueBAN so important? Why is it so relevant? Why do we dedicate an entire session today to TrueBAN, right? To really appreciate TrueBAN, as always, we have to zoom out, look at the big picture, right? It's always important to understand where we are, because only then and only then can we really also appreciate where we are headed, right? So where are we right now? Our current monetary system is literally based on inflation. We all are familiar with that, right? This is why we are anticipating interest rate cuts, right? However, ironically, these interest rate cuts will cause even more inflation, because that's how our monetary system is set up. To stimulate the economy, you need to cause inflation, right? And you cause inflation by lowering the interest rates, and then causing quantitative easing is a fancy big word, just meaning that you're printing more fiat and flooding the economy with it, right? And then that causes inflation, yes. However, it stimulates the economy, because lower interest rates, meaning that borrowing money and banks lending money banks will be lending money at a much lower interest rates, right? So everybody that needs mortgage, car loans, student loans, or any, your credit cards rates will be lowered as well, and so on and so forth, right? So this is a point and time that we're all looking forward to, because once interest rates get cut, money is being injected into the economy, and that's when inflation is caused even more. However, that's how the economy is stimulated, right? So inflation has been plaguing the markets, the industry, for the longest time, right? And as we see here, this is a famous way to look at how purchasing power is being lost through inflation, right? So inflation necessarily is bad for us, especially understanding that inflation doesn't correlate with increase in the pay raise, right? If we would get a pay raise that matches the inflation, at least that would be great, but unfortunately that's not the case. So purchasing power loss is through inflation. So inflation is something that is horrible, and we don't want to bring this on to the blockchain. So this is why, if we need to change something, right? So it's one thing to identify a challenge, a situation, a problem, but it's a whole different thing to find a solution for it and implement it, right? Now, that's where we're headed right now. So we identified that inflation is causing loss of purchasing power. Inflation is causing, the value is being reduced of whatever asset that you're in. And because we identified that, that's one thing. Now, how are we addressing it? What are we implementing to do that? And that's when the TrueBAN comes in, right? So let's go step by step. Before we really get into the TrueBAN aspect of it, it's important for us to understand that our monetary system is based on inflation. To stimulate the market, it needs even to be inflated even more. But the beautiful thing about inflation in finance is that asset classes, especially the risk assets, usually rise in value, right? Mostly stocks and cryptocurrencies. And cryptocurrencies are the number one. Cryptocurrencies always rise the most in an environment where inflation is being driven, right? So this is why we are speculating interest rate cuts, because we know that once the markets are being stimulated with more injection of fiat currencies, the crypto market is going to boom, and that will cause and trigger the bull market that we're also waiting for and anticipating, right? So with that in mind, let's start today's session, right? So there is inflationary and deflationary cryptocurrencies. So what's the difference? It's very important for us to understand this, right? Let's look at this in more detail. And there are two things that are very important for us to take away today. If there's any takeaway today, let's understand that it all depends on cryptocurrencies' supply and issuance schedule. So these are the two things. Look at the supply and look at the issuance schedule. We will look at specific examples so that we understand what the supply is and what the issuance is, right? We'll look at specific examples that will really help us understand all of this. So Let's this is a very interesting article. I would like to go through with it. Like we said at the very beginning, the United States is very much known amongst other nations as well, but we always pick on US because they hold the global reserve currency. So whatever the US does, it affects us all globally, right? So that's why the focus is always so much on the US, right? So inflation in the US is already at its 40-year high, all-time high, right? And so is the debt, right? So prices are rising faster than wages, like we just discussed, right? And this causes some people to pour their money into alternative assets, touted as inflation hedges, right? And one of the inflation hedges is known as Bitcoin, right? Which is the native cryptocurrency and the largest cryptocurrency, as we know, right? But now it gets interesting. But did you know that Bitcoin is also technically, not just technically, it is inflationary. It's an inflationary asset. Did you know that? Right? So many falsely always claim that, oh, Bitcoin is deflationary. That's not true, right? That's not true. So this is just for us to have an idea of how many tokens and cryptocurrencies are affected by inflation, right? So even the famous Bitcoin, the #1 cryptocurrency, it is inflationary. It's an inflationary asset, right? It will remain inflationary until 2140. So another over 100 years, right? It's always going to be inflationary. However, the inflation rate is being cut in half every 4 years. Nonetheless, it is inflationary, right? So what about Ethereum, right? Ethereum, as we know, is the native token for the Ethereum blockchain. It is also inflationary, right? As we speak right now, it is inflationary. And we'll look at that also shortly. And then there is Dogecoin, right? Dogecoin is the largest community token on Bitcoin, right? And also overall, it's the #1 community token, and it literally has no peg. Like it has no limit. It has an unlimited supply, and it's extremely inflationary, right? So why do they pick these three, right? And we're going to look at all three of them to really make a point today, right? So Bitcoin is inflationary, but the good thing about Bitcoin, at least it has a cap, right? We know that once it hits that 21 million, based on the way it's programmed, it's going to not cause any more inflation. It has a limit, at least, right? Ethereum, it has an unlimited supply. And as long as there is a certain amount of volume, it can become deflationary, right? However, for now, it is inflationary, and we will look at it in more detail, right? And it doesn't have a cap. It has unlimited supply as well, right? However, with high volume, it can become deflationary. Currently, it is also inflationary. So we have Bitcoin that is inflationary. We have Ethereum currently that is inflationary. And then we have Dogecoin that is inflationary. With Dogecoin, it not only does it have an unlimited supply, right? But it's also obviously, it's completely inflationary, right? It has a high inflation rate and it has an unlimited supply. So these are things that we really need to pay attention to, community. Like these are things we need to look for if we are, looking at cryptocurrencies, if we're looking at ecosystems. We need to identify these three different types of supplies that you have, right? You have inflation with a cap, with a max. You have inflation with unlimited tokens. However, with the more adaptation it gets, the more volume it gets, it has the option, it has the possibility to become deflationary. And actually, Ethereum was deflationary for a very, very long time until the Duncan upgrade happened. It lowered the fees. The transaction fees are much lower. I'm sure we're all benefiting from it. However, that also caused inflation now because there's less volume on the main blockchain Ethereum, because majority of the individuals are trading on either on a base or on other layer 2 platforms such as Arbitrum or other layer 2 platforms. So with that said, let's keep moving. There is one more thing that I want us to understand. And I'll come back here and we'll look at these three different cryptocurrencies individually. Let's continue here. I just want us to understand this. So if a cryptocurrency, or a currency for that matter, is subject to inflation, what does it mean? It means that its purchasing power will fall over time, like we just saw here, right? This is really like, it's common knowledge. If there is inflation, you fall. You see how it's been just falling, nosediving for decades, right? So this is what inflation causes. Now, let me ask you, community. This is what we're facing right now in the traditional financial market. This is our current monetary system. The blockchain technology was revolutionized, or was developed for us to improve the current situation that we're in, right? We're supposed to do better with this blockchain technology. However, currently it doesn't look like it. If our three most famous currencies, which is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin, they're all inflationary, right? We're doing ourselves a disservice, right? We are not really up to the standards where we need to be. So we need to do things differently. How can we do things differently if we are still issuing out cryptocurrencies, ecosystems, coins that are inflationary? We need to change that. It's one thing to identify a challenge or a problem, but it's a whole different one to really implement and solve it, right? And this is what we're facing right now, community. So like we said here, if a currency is subject to inflation, it means that its purchasing power will fall over time, right? In other words, each unit of that currency, be it a US dollar, euro, or Bitcoin itself, it cannot be used to buy as much as it used to, right? If it's inflationary, right? So this is very important to understand. Another thing that I also want us to look at is, like we just discussed here, right? Some cryptocurrencies are just inherently inflationary, meaning that the number of coins in circulation rises over time. And this is bad for the ecosystem because it's just doing exactly what we're already experiencing. So why do the same thing that is a problem on the blockchain? We need to do things differently. Again, it's one thing to identify a problem, but what are we doing about it? What are we doing about it, right? Do something about it. And apparently this is one of the issues. These are one of the challenges in the industry. And this is just to highlight and to just, shed light on it, that this is an issue that the largest and most famous currencies, cryptocurrencies, are facing, and is not being talked about, more about it because it's an issue. So new cryptocurrencies can be minted or mined into existence, right? That's how Bitcoin works, right? It issues more tokens every 10 minutes, every block. It's issuing more tokens, right? So is the same thing with Ethereum, and the same thing with Dogecoin as well, right? So like we say, Dogecoin, for instance, it has an unlimited supply, right? We know that. And we saw that Bitcoin's own literally has, at least the main one is the halving. It cuts the amount of Bitcoin miners, the amount they receive. So that's very important, right? At least we know that even though it's inflationary, the inflation gets cut in half every 4 years. Nonetheless, it's still inflationary, right? So now, there are cryptocurrencies that are deflationary. There are deflationary tokens. Over time, they can become deflationary, right? And one of them is Binance, right? They used to do manual banning every quarter, every 3 months, they used to do banning. And their aim is to ban every quarter to reduce their supply until the supply reaches 100 million, right? That's a goal that CZ, the founder of Binance, put for himself, because he understood that both Bitcoin and Ethereum were inflationary. So, and Binance is based is formed based on Ethereum, right? And what he improved was he wanted to create a blockchain that is deflationary. And this is why he started implementing banning mechanisms, right? So that's very important to understand as well. One thing I want us to understand here is another thing, right? There, you see how we talked about issuance. Remember these two things at the beginning. We discussed how we've been looking at the supply so far, right? And there's supply, and then there's also issuance schedule, right? So far, we've been talking about the supply, right? Now, let's look at the issuance schedule. What does that mean? This is another important thing if it comes to supply. So what that means is usually at the very beginning, this is an XRP example, right? What happens with this with these tokens nowadays is that when they're launched, and we'll look at it in more detail later on with in the form of Solana. We'll make an example with Solana. At the beginning, usually a lot of developers the team, early investors get access to majority of the supply, right, of the circulating supply into their hands. And usually, slowly, it's being sold into the market. And that's the issuance schedule, right? So in the case of XRP, for example, they periodically release these tokens into the market, right? So they're selling these tokens into the market, thereby increasing their circulating supply, right? They got them early on, and we'll look at an example here in a minute, and to make this very clear, right? To really make a point. So these early investors usually and periodically release these tokens by selling them, obviously, into the market. The circulating supply increases, and we know what that means, right? This is what this chart is all about. So they keep just dumping on everybody else. And then at the current rate, burn rate, even though XRP is deflationary, however, these tokens that are being released into the market are being released at a much higher rate than they're burning. So this means that at the current rate, it would take 20 years for the XRP ledger to burn what is distributed by Ripple and its founders every single day. So every day, there are more tokens being flooded into the market than they're being burned. And it would take 20 years just to keep up with what's being flooded into the market, right? So this just shows what a negative impact inflation has on cryptocurrencies, on tokens, right? It really has a negative impact. And to really highlight that, let's look at the famous Solana, right? Solana is notorious for that. First of all, Solana also has an unlimited supply. Actually, let's look at it. We'll come back to Aave. Let's look at Solana. And I want to show you what issuance is all about, right? So if you come to CoinGecko has this great future here. You can come to tokenomics, right? You come to CoinGecko, you come to tokenomics, and then you literally see how the distribution of the supply of the tokens, right? And like we just discussed, you see how a lot of these supply go to seed sale, right? Founding sale, validator, strategic sale, public sale, and the team. If you count all of these together, right, and then the foundation, you come to close to 68%, right? And that shows you, this is what we were just discussing here, right? That these tokens are being periodically released into the market, right? They have to go somewhere. They'll be released into the market, and they're in the hands of early investors. Let's look at it even closer here. This is how it works. These are fundraising rounds, right? Let me zoom in so you have you see it much better. Let me zoom in here. So these are These are funding rounds, right? These are early investors. So on March 8, 2018, they raised over 3 million, right? And they were selling Solana for 4 cents, basically, right? And then they raised another 12 million, almost 13 million at 20 cents on June. And then July, February, and March again, increasing the price all the time and raising money. So you see that these went to seed sale, founding sale, right? What did we see here? Seed sale, 16%, almost 16%. Founding sale, almost 13%, right? These are early investors. And then again, we see that validator sale, right? Strategic sale and public auction sale, right? And if we go here, we see that validator sale 5%, and then strategic sale, public auction again, and then the team. All of this together is over 60%. And all of these tokens, like we discussed here, are going to eventually be released into the market, right? And they're going to increase their circulating supply. And what happens if you cause inflation? This is exactly what's going to happen. So everybody's so enthusiastic about Solana, how it's going to the moon, and all of that is going to flip Ethereum, but they don't understand that this is a very inflationary token, right? It's very inflationary. And even though it has high throughput, it's led by meme coins, right? And it's very inflationary. It's very inflationary. And there's a lot of tokens that are about to be released and they're on schedule. And once they are released and they don't have a banning mechanism, Solana doesn't do banning. They don't ban tokens, right? And they have an unlimited supply. And they have a schedule that is about to come, like we saw here. This release schedule. These people are about to release these tokens into the market. And once that happens, it will cause the price of Solana to really, really drop, right? And if we zoom out, we see exactly what happened, right? After the bull run and all the tokens were released, we see how that happens. And not having a banning mechanism causes this to happen. So being inflationary and not having a banning mechanism, that's double trouble, right? So not only are you issuing more tokens every day, now you don't even banning them either. So this makes the fundamentals of Solana very poor, right? They have poor fundamentals. On top of this, we see the distributions. Majority of the tokens are in the hands of the founders and the early investors, right? Which will be releasing their tokens into the community, right? Into the market, and it will increase the supply, and we know what that happens. That means the price is getting ready to drop, right, drastically. And pair that with the bear market and you'll see something like this, right? It will basically, all the profits were made here is going right back to even before it had the bull run, right? And this happens if you don't have a banning mechanism and if you have unlimited supply. So this is very important to understand, community. And this is an example of issuance. I just wanted to highlight this because this supply is one thing, but then there's also issuance schedule, meaning that these early investors, the team, they have schedules where they release these tokens by selling them into the market, and usually it causes the price to really drop drastically, right? So always be aware of that. And I like CoinGecko because they usually have this tokenomics tab where you can come and really look at the, you look at the distribution of the tokens and have a better understanding of what to expect as far as issuance and as far as releasing these tokens into the market. And this paired with unlimited supply gives Solana literally a very bad fundamentals, right? So that's just that. And also what we need to look at, because we saw, now let's look at these three different cryptocurrencies, right? Let's look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin, right? So let's start with Bitcoin. If you look at Bitcoin, that is inflationary, and it doesn't have a banning mechanism either. The good thing about it, though, like we said, it has a limit supply of 21 million, right? It's inflationary, but its inflation gets cut in half every 4 years, and it will do so for the next 100 years, and then it will stop, right? It reaches a maximum supply of 21 million, and that's it. So it's, even though it's inflationary, it's really it's not as bad, but nonetheless, it's still inflationary, right? So this is important to understand. So Bitcoin, as far as supply, it has a cap of 21 million. Its inflation is being cut in half every 4 years, and that's its tokenomics, right? And it doesn't have a banning mechanism either. So for the next over 100 years, it's going to be inflationary. That's an issue, right? This is why whenever you see, even though it has such a high volume of roughly 20 billion, no, 40 billion, right, in volume, it doesn't do the ecosystem any good, right? Imagine if they will be using all this volume to ban tokens, right? Imagine this would be very good for Bitcoin and for the community. However, they don't have a banning mechanism. Keep this in mind. We will do math at the end to just have an idea of what that would mean if we had such a volume, and how many tokens we'll be banning just on a daily basis, right? Banning is important, right? Just as liquidity is important, banning, being deflationary, is very important, right? Because it brings stability to the ecosystem. So keep that in mind. Now let's look at Ethereum. Currently, Ethereum, let's look at the 30-day. Currently, Ethereum, let me zoom in. Currently, Ethereum is inflationary, right? It's every month it's putting out 60,000 ETH. You see this chart right here going up. This means that it's issuing here once more. So issuance. So it's issuing more. Where is it? You see issuance? This is exactly it. This is issuance, right? This just shows you that Ethereum currently is issuing more tokens, which is 932,000, then it's banning, right? And this is what's causing the inflation. So if you're issuing more tokens than you're banning, obviously you become inflationary. So as we speak, even Ethereum is inflationary. And because Ethereum also has unlimited supply, let's look at it. Ethereum also has unlimited supply. If you come here to max supply, you see this unlimited sign. This just shows it has an unlimited supply, right? So the thing with Ethereum, though, is that during the bull run, of course, when there'll be most transactions running on it, it will be deflationary. And also, what I need to highlight for Ethereum is that Ethereum is the choice for institutions, right? Most of the stable coins are on Ethereum. Right now, BlackRock's liquidity, real world asset liquidity, which is for US debts, is on Ethereum, right? And also the whole network that JP Morgan is building for collateralization of BlackRock's assets to use them as collateral is also built on top of Ethereum. So Ethereum is the #1 decentralized exchange. DeFi prod applications are mainly on Ethereum. Right now, all the tokenizations liquidity fund is on Ethereum through BlackRock, right? And this will help the volume to kickstart, right? So I'm not concerned with Ethereum being inflationary right now, because in the long term, Ethereum is going to be deflationary because it's the choice of not just BlackRock, but also of JP Morgan. Those are the two largest players in the industry as far as asset managers and bank, right? So if the largest asset manager and the largest bank combine their efforts together and decide to use the Ethereum blockchain for not just tokenizing everything, but also using those tokenized assets as collateral, we don't have to worry about volume, right? So eventually Ethereum will be back to deflationary. I just want to also mention that, right? But currently, as we speak, it is not. It is inflationary, right? So this just shows you that inflation in times of low transactions is normal on Ethereum blockchain. I just want to highlight that, right? And now finally, if we look at Dogecoin, like we said, it has unlimited supply, right? Dogecoin has unlimited supply. It doesn't have banning mechanism. If you zoom out, you just see what happens. During the bull run, it just skyrocketed, and then it just came all the way down again. It's very inflationary. It has unlimited supply, and it doesn't have a banning mechanism, right? And this is why, even though it has over 16 and a half, no, it has over 800 million in volume, it doesn't do any good, right? Because it's not using this volume to ban the tokens, to ban the supply, which is very important, right? So now that we've looked at this, there is one more thing I would like us to look at, right? And this has to do with staking, right? Because one of our utilities is staking. And one thing I want to highlight, community, is that staking plays a major role in the industry, right? Don't take my word for it. Let's go to DeFi Llama. DeFi Llama ranks applications, right? DeFi Llama ranks applications based on their usage, right? And also based on their total value locked. This means how much assets are on those platforms. And if we pay attention to the top, let's just look at the top 5, right? Just to be fair. Lido, what is it? It's a staking platform. Surprise, surprise. The largest application on Ethereum is a staking platform. So staking plays a major role in not just on Ethereum, but of course on every other proof of stake blockchain, right? So staking is key. Everybody loves to stake and receive some sort of rewards, right? So staking is very important. Second largest staking platform, right? Aave, of course, its utility is lending. However, how are you lending? By receiving tokens. So you can stake Aave and receive more Aave, right? So literally, how do you lend? By staking your tokens, locking them up, right? So it's also staking. It involves staking. Maker, they're stablecoin issuers of DAI, right? And how do you receive DAI? You have to stake either stablecoin USDC or Ethereum. It's a staking. It has staking functionalities also. So it is obviously involves staking as well. EtherFi is the same thing with Lido. You stake ETH, right? And you receive rewards. So all the top 5 applications, the largest applications across all chains, are on Ethereum, first of all, right? So the largest 5 applications are on Ethereum. And also they're all based on staking, right? And if you go down, Uniswap is staking, JustLend is staking, Rocket Pool is staking, Athena is also staking, Pendle is staking, and you get the point. So the top 10 largest applications are all staking, have something to do with staking. So I believe we just made a point, right? So staking plays a major role. Why am I emphasizing so much on that? It's because we want to look at Aave. Let's look at Aave, for example. Aave is the largest staking platform, right? Lending platform in the industry. And there's one thing I want us to look at. It's causing a lot of inflation as well. And how is it doing so? The beautiful thing about CoinGecko is if you come here and you go to circulating supply and you hit this I button, you'll be able to go to the rewards contract, right? It will take you to the rewards contract. Here you can click right here, and now we are looking at the staking contract itself, right? This is a staking contract for Aave. If you stake Aave, you receive more Aave, right? So this is the supply remaining, staking supply remaining. These are the rewards. If you go and stake Aave, you receive more of this, more Aave, right? So this is exactly what we mean when we were talking about inflation and issuance, right? This is the issuance schedule. So if you stake, like we discussed here, if you're staking your token, right? If a currency is subject to inflation, it means that its purchasing power will fall over time, right? And we looked at, in other words, each of the unit currency, which is US dollar, euro, or Bitcoin, it cannot be used to buy as much as it used to. So if you look at Aave here, if we look at Aave here, right here, you see that they're giving you more of Aave, right? So this is causing obviously inflation. So even though they have a max supply, right now they're still causing a lot of inflation. And for a staking platform to cause inflation is terrible, because it scares the individuals who are staking their token. Nobody wants to stake a token that is inflationary, right? Because that just means, we just read about it right here. This means that why would you stake something that you know that the purchasing power is going down, right? We saw this chart right here. You know that the token you're staking keeps dumping, keeps going down. Why would you stake it, right? You don't want to you want to stake a token that is inflationary. So I'm not picking on Aave. I'm just choosing Aave because it's one of the largest applications in the industry, the most used lending platform, and it's known for staking, right? And this is why you see the chart going down like this, even though it has a volume of, it has a high volume, trading volume of over 300 million, right? Of course, we'll have to do some math. We'll do some math shortly. But this just shows you that for a staking platform, you can't be inflationary. You shouldn't be issuing your own tokens to cause inflation. And then you don't have a banning mechanism either. So you're causing inflation and you're not banning these tokens. This is fundamentally, it doesn't show strong fundamentals, right? And this is exactly what we need to stay away from. In using the blockchain technology, we have to implement strong fundamentals, right? We have to avoid inflation, and then we need a banning mechanism. This again shows you the importance of scarcity, right? So why am I showing you this? Is because, remember I told you that not many people will want to stake a token that is inflationary. Don't take my word for it. Let's actually go here. Let's go to Aave and look how much percentage-wise is staked. How many people are staking Aave actually? How many people are staking Aave? Let's look at that. Let's look at Aave. If you go here, we go to the smart contract on the Etherscan. We go to holders, and then you'll see Aave staked, right? It's the number one, just like ours, right? Ours is also number one. This is Aave staked. What's the percentage? 17.7%. Let's be generous. Let's say it's 18%, right? So less than 18% of Aave is being staked. Keep in mind, this is the most used application, right? This is the number one lending platform. Aave is the third largest application in the entire industry, only behind Lido and Eigenlayer, right? Lido stakes more than 33% of all ETH in circulation. Eigenlayer is an entire blockchain. And then Aave is the first real application. It's the largest application, only behind a blockchain and literally a staking platform that stakes more than 33% of ETH. So Aave is big, right? However, why don't people like to stake Aave? Why there's only 17% staked? Why? Ask yourself that. It's because inflation, right? It's causing inflation and it doesn't have a banning mechanism. So nobody wants to stake something that everybody knows is just heading one way, right? You don't want to use a staking application that is inflationary. This is why you see only 17% of the supply is being staked, right? Even though it's the largest application right here in the industry, right? So with that said, to be fair, let's look at how much BULLRUN is being staked right now, right? How much BULLRUN is being staked? In comparison, first of all, as you see here also, our staking platform is number one, obviously, because it has the most tokens, right? It holds 60%, right? So almost 4 times, actually 5 times, no, 4 times. So BULLRUN almost stakes 4 times more than Aave, right? So we are staking almost 4 times more than Aave. And why is that the case, right? Because when you understand that you are staking a scarce token, a token that is literally reducing its supply, its total supply with every trade, and then this is true burning, right? And then also, the second thing, let's look at the smart contract. Not only are you banning tokens from circulating supply, but now you're issuing USDC distributions, right? So not only is your supply shrinking, but as rewards, you're giving out a stable coin, not BULLRUN token, not native token, right? So this is the difference. The reason why Aave has 4 times less staked supply than BULLRUN is because they are too inflationary, first of all, and then they're also issuing Aave as rewards, right? This obviously causes inflation, and it causes the supply to shrink. This is why there's only 17%, as you see here, staked, because nobody on their right mind wants to stake an asset that is inflationary and that is issuing even more inflation, causing even more inflation. The more you stake, the more inflationary it becomes. This is why you see a very low staked supply of Aave. This just shows that the token is not just inflationary, but it also is unstable, because the more is staked, the more stability the ecosystem has, the more stable the ecosystem has. And needless to say, right, BULLRUN is the only staking platform in the industry that literally has a scarce supply, right? It's the only staking platform that literally has a scarce supply. Why is that the case? Because it has the true ban, like we said, right? The topic today is true ban. And our ecosystem implemented this, and we started with 1 million in total supply. Now we are down to 968, and it keeps shrinking, right? The supply keeps shrinking. This is what sets us apart in the industry, and we have no competition as far as staking platforms are concerned. There's no competition out here, because every other staking platform is inflationary, right? Adding more supply into the circulation, and they're issuing more of their token, right? You see here, the difference is Aave is giving you more Aave, right? This is their staking contract. They're giving you more Aave. And BULLRUN, right? Let's go to our staking contract. This is our staking contract, right? And BULLRUN is giving you USDC. It's not giving you BULLRUN, it's giving you USDC. So we are doing 2 things. We're giving you a stable coin. We are not causing inflation. And then we're also decreasing the supply with every buy and sell through our true ban mechanism, right? And this is exactly what sets us apart. And this is exactly what makes us market leaders, right? And to really appreciate what we do, let's do some math right now. Let's do some math. And let's compete with the largest staking platform right now, which is, like we said, Aave, right? Aave right now, Aave's volume is 300 million, right? That's too much. That's too much. We don't even need that much. Let's make it 10 million. Let's just take 10 million. We don't want 300 million. Let's take 10 million, and let's do some math. Keep this chart in mind, right? Aave has this high volume. However, it is inflationary and it's losing its purchasing power every day, right? So out of the 332 million in volume, let's just use 10 million and look at how many tokens will be burning in one day, right? First of all, let's look at the price, right? How much is one token right now? 52 cents. Let's say 50 cents, just for the sake of math, right? 10 million, 50 cents price. So let's do the math. Let's see how much will be burning. So let's say our volume would be 10 million, right? And 1% of 10 million is 100,000, right? So we have 100,000 worth of $100,000. Now let's burn $100,000 worth of BRL tokens. How many tokens would that be, right? Again, let's come back. How much do we have left? 968, right? So let's calculate 100,000 times, we said 50 cents, right? We see here, it says we're at 52 cents right now, but just for the sake of math, let's do 50 cents, right? So let's see how many tokens we will be burning just in one day. So if we divide this by 50 cents, right? That's 200,000. So within one day, 24 hours, BULLRUN is capable of burning 200,000 tokens just in 24 hours, right? And we started with 1 million. So what is 200,000 out of 1 million? That's 20%, right? So BULLRUN is capable. There's a reason why we call it hyperdeflationary token. And there's a reason why we're discussing true burn today, because true burn really sets the stage, sets the standard, right? So through true burn, that means just with 10 million alone, and keep in mind, Aave has 332 million in volume, right? We don't want that. We just took 10 million alone just to make a point. So we'll be burning 200,000 BRL tokens, right? So why is that so relevant? If we remove 200,000 BRL tokens right now, and we already have 968, right? 968. So that means we'll be left with 768. And this is just one day. So let's come and look at something here, right? So let's say what will be the market cap? What are we doing right now? Based on our circulating supply, 768,000. We want to see that, we want to highlight something, right? We want to make a point. So by the time one token is $1,000, one BRL token is $1,000, because we have a true burn mechanism, and we just calculated 24 hours worth of burning. So obviously this is not true, because by the time we hit $1,000, this will put us at 768 million in market cap, right? We are only 500,000 in market cap, right? So this just means that by the time we hit $1,000, this supply will be at least half of it. At least it will be more like around 400, right? But just for the sake of math, we just did a one-day burn, right? And removed, that would be 200,000 supply, roughly, right? So we won't have to, by the time we add 768 million in market cap, one BRL token will be worth $1,000. And this is because we have true burn, right? This is because we are burning supply. This is based on only 10 million volume, right? We used 10 million as volume, and this is just a 24-hour burning, right? And this is at 500,000 market cap, right? And this is based on when we have a 768 million market cap, so over 1,000x. So obviously we all know this number will shrink even more by that time. But let's just, for the sake of math, leave it like this. Why am I showing you this? I just want to highlight the importance of burning, of true burn, removing from total supply. is because we will reach $1,000 at 768 million market cap, right? But let's look at it if we didn't ban any supply, right? So let's change this number and leave it at 1 million. Let's say we were not banning any tokens at all. We didn't have a true ban. We won't hit a million, we won't hit $1,000 until we have a billion in market cap. You see the difference now? We would have to wait until we hit 1 billion in market cap so that to hit this price. But because we are banning supply, we only have to hit 768. But obviously, by the time we hit this 1,000, the supply will probably be more around, let's just be humble and say 500. We'll only have 500,000 left by that time, right? And that means by the time we hit 500 million market cap, our token is already $1,000 worth. This is because you're banning. If you ban tokens, you hit the price faster, right? But if you don't ban tokens, right, and we leave it at 1 million, we'll have to wait twice as much. We have to hit a billion in market cap before we hit $1,000, right? So why am I showing this? Is the importance of true ban, right? Of being deflationary. It's very important. It's the opposite of inflation, right? So what does this mean? This means that we didn't just identify the challenge here, the problem with inflation, right? And also we looked at the largest application right now in the industry, which is Aave, with its staking platform. Even though it has over 330 million in volume, its chart looks like this. It's not banning, it's causing more inflation. It's actually issuing more Aave tokens for its staking through its staking contract. And we addressed this problem, right? By doing what? We addressed it by banning, decreasing our total supply through true ban, right? And this is the reason why the community that is well informed and educated understands this. This is why there's 60% staked. And this is out of a bear market. So imagine this number is obviously going to increase as we're entering the interest rate cuts and the economy is being stimulated and we're going through a bull run. Obviously, more people will stake, right? They'll buy and stake. So this number will go closely to where it was. At its peak, we had 84% staked, right? So we might go right back to that area and even surpass it, right? So why is true ban important? It gives confidence. If you have a staking platform, it gives the community the confidence to stake, because now they understand that we are staking a token that is scarce in supply, right? And we saw here that the three largest cryptocurrencies, right, which is Bitcoin, it is inflationary, which Ethereum is also inflationary. Dogecoin has unlimited supply and is inflationary as well. And so are, if you look at DeFi Llama, Lido is inflationary, Eigenlayer is inflationary, Aave is inflationary, we looked at it. All of these are inflationary, right? And they all have something to do with staking. So basically their staking platforms are inflationary, right? This is why we say we're not just claim things that are not true, but we're saying that based on the top staking platforms, which are inflationary, we are the only staking platform in the industry that is literally deflationary, right? So we didn't just identify an industry-wide problem, but we actually came up with a solution, right? Like we said, it's one thing to talk about the problem all day long, but it's a whole different story to really come up with the solution that you identified, that there was a problem for. Come with the solution, implement it, build it into this ecosystem, add it in there, put it in the smart contract, and create a staking platform that is literally scarce, right? So compared to the three largest and most famous cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin, which are all inflationary, our platform is not just deflationary, but it's actually scarce, meaning its supply keeps shrinking with every buy and sell, right? It keeps shrinking. And we did math here, right? This just means that we won't have to wait until we hit $1 billion, because we keep burning our supply, it will shrink. It keeps shrinking, meaning that we hit certain milestones at a much lower market caps, right? This also means that our liquidity is going to catch up with our market cap, right? So this all plays together, and this is how we'll also achieve one-to-one liquidity to market cap ratio, because people will have to pay way more, right, for the token at a much lower market cap because we are burning, and at the same time, the liquidity that we are retaining is eventually going to catch up with the market cap, because the market cap keeps shrinking because we are burning more. The more you burn, the more your market cap shrinks, right? So the market cap keeps shrinking, but because we're retaining liquidity, liquidity keeps increasing, and before you know it, we have a one-to-one. We basically have the liquidity of a stable coin, and at the same time, we keep burning tokens, right? And next week, we're going now to talk about the incentive, the staking platform, right? So community, this is the reason why, this is what sets our ecosystem apart. We have a utility, which is staking. Staking plays a major role in the industry. The top 10 applications on Ethereum are all, some have all to do with staking, right? The top 2 are directly involved in staking. Like we said, Aave is staking, Maker staking, EtherFi, all of them have something to do with staking, right? And this is why staking is so important. But nobody wants to stake a token, right, that is inflationary. This is why Aave, even though it's the largest application in the industry, right, as far as lending and staking platform, only 17% is staked, right? And this is because smart money knows that I will not stake something that is inflationary, that is losing value over time. Why would I do that, right? But it's different if you have something that is literally having a true burn and at the same time retaining liquidity. So you have a liquid asset, right, that is scarce. Now this brings us to this now. And let's close out with this. This is how we're going to close, community. Now that we understand true burn and its importance, and true burn and liquidity go hand in hand, right? We don't have just liquidity, we have true burn. And like we said, the more you burn, the more your liquidity can catch up with the market cap. That means your liquidity to market cap ratio is going to be very, very, very sweet. You know, it's going to be very high. Currently, we are over 50%, right? Like you see here. If we do the math right now, what's our liquidity to market cap ratio? So if we take the 271,000, divide by 507, multiplied by 100, so it's 53% right now. So we have a 53% liquidity to market cap ratio. This is out of a bear market, and this is because we haven't hit that million market cap yet. Once we hit the million market cap, it will flip, right? There'll be more liquidity accumulated than tokens. And like I said, the more we burn, the easier our liquidity will catch up to our market cap. So eventually, the 53% is going to be more closer to 70, 80%, right? And in the long run, this is what we all want. We want an asset that is extremely liquid, that everybody can cash out, but then also that is scarce in supply, right? So we have those two things, a liquid asset that is scarce. Now, let's close out with this. What are we seeing here? This increased by far. It used to be 75%. Now it's 85%. This is private credit, community, right? And this is real world assets. So right now, the largest real world asset is used for private credit, meaning lending, meaning debt. So 85% of real world assets are being used to provide, or to issue rather, debts, right? And what does debt do to us, especially retailers? It's financial enslavement, right? And if you have mortgages, you can't pay it back, so it keeps compounding. The debt keeps compounding. You have credit cards debts, they compound, right? And your debt just keeps compounding, and you will never be able to pay back, especially with the fiat currency that is inflationary, that is losing its purchasing power, right? You'll have to work more and more to even pay back your asset, which you'll never be able to pay back, because you're working for a fiat currency that is losing purchasing power. How will you ever pay back an asset that is increasing in value, but you're working and trying to pay back your debt with a fiat currency that is decreasing in value? So this is a setup, community. So this is why we opted that instead of having a debt-driven monetary system that is inflationary, with our ecosystem, you have a liquidity-driven ecosystem that is scarce. We do the exact opposite, right? So you have a scarce asset, not inflationary, like we discussed now through BULLRUN, that is extremely liquid. And now if you have a scarce asset that is liquid, why do people would take on debt? Because they don't know any better. There is no asset out there that is liquid and scarce. So people are forced to take on credit, right? We looked at the 3 largest cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin, it's inflationary, right? And it doesn't have much liquidity either. But today's topic has nothing to do with liquidity. It's inflationary. Let's stick to BULLRUN. It's inflationary. Ethereum is inflationary, right? We looked at it. Obviously, Dogecoin is inflationary. We looked at Solana. It's inflationary. Aave, it's inflationary. You get the point. This is why people have to take on debts, because they have no asset that is extremely liquid and scarce at the same time. Community, ask yourselves, where does this put us? People are taking up so much debts. Look at this. 85% of real world assets are debts. But would you need debt if you have a liquid asset that is also scarce at the same time? No, you won't need to take on debt. If you have a liquid asset that is scarce, you don't need debt, especially if this liquid asset is also giving you USDC distributions as you're holding it. But we'll save this. We save this for next week, when we'll talk about USDC distributions and staking, right? So the point today, and this is no financial advice, we're just breaking down our mechanisms, our tokenomics. We're just breaking down, we're just discussing the challenges in the industry, which is inflation, debt, and loss of purchasing power. We're making examples based on the largest applications in the industry, which is Lido, Eigenlayer, Aave, Maker, and so on and so forth. And we're just highlighting and the challenges in the industry. Of course, this is no financial advice whatsoever. Use this as your reference point and go down the rabbit hole yourself. Do your own research, right? We discussed how the industry is dominated by the dollar, right? How is the industry dominated by the dollar? Look at Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin paired with? Have you ever asked yourself what Bitcoin is paired with, right? Bitcoin is paired with the US dollar, right? The stable coin, right? What is Ethereum paired with? Ethereum is paired with the US dollar, right? With a stable coin. Obviously, Tether is a stable coin, and they have to purchase US debt, right? And obviously, stablecoin are denominated in US dollar, right? So we can go on, and we'll realize that US is literally dominating the digital era, right? And we've been told that the US is lacking behind, the competition is way ahead, US can't keep up, they can't catch up. That's a lie. That's not true. right? That's false news, because obviously the largest cryptocurrency, which is literally half the market cap, actually 55%, right? Bitcoin is 55% as far as market cap of the entire industry, and it's paired with the US dollar, right? So is Ethereum. Stable coins are dominating, and they're mostly in US dollar. 99% of stable coins are in US dollar, right? Why am I highlighting this? This is to show that this industry is not going anywhere, right? This industry is here to stay. It's the future. And like we discussed, if you want to be part of an ecosystem that will be around for as long as this industry will be around, now that we see that it's being legitimized, right? Now regulations are being put in place. Politicians are campaigning around cryptocurrencies and, and all of that. It's legitimized. So now that you understand that in order to be around, you need two futures. We've been discussing liquidity. We know that by now. But second future is you need to have a true bond. You need to be deflationary, at least deflationary, like Survivor and Killer Whale are, at least. But if you want to take it to the next level, and we did this because we have a staking platform, we wanted to be the only staking platform that is literally scarce, right? So this true bond in combination with liquidity is really putting us on a whole different level and is setting us apart from all other staking platforms that you see here on this list. I urge you to go through this list. Let me copy this. Let me copy this and put it in the chat. You can look at it yourself, right? Look at it yourself. Take your time, go through it, and you'll realize that our ecosystem is the only staking platform that is literally scarce, right? And that the largest cryptocurrencies, which are Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin, they're all inflationary. They're all inflationary, right? They're all following the old monetary system, inflationary and debt-driven, right? Our ecosystem is deflation, not just deflationary, but it's scarce and it's deep in liquidity. If you have an asset like this in the crypto industry, we won't have to worry about private credit, right? And this is the whole idea, community. Debt brings a lot of money for these institutions, and they're using the blockchain to issue even more debts. Like we discussed at the beginning, JP Morgan has their own private chain, Onyx, on the Ethereum blockchain. They're using BlackRock's money markets assets, and they want to use them as collateral to issue what? Private credit, right? Because there are no assets out there that are liquid and scarce. So people they're forced to take on credit, right? So this just shows you that all these individuals that need credit so much, if they would understand that there is a community out here that is literally retaining liquidity and that is scarce, and next week we'll discuss about our third future, staking, is giving you a sustainable staking distributions, like we said, that is not causing inflation and is sustainable and is using its volume efficiently. Now we have an asset that at least this 85% of individuals using the blockchain would love to have. Because if you have a liquid asset that is scarce and that is giving you USDC distributions, why would you need private credit? But because an asset like the one we have doesn't exist yet, at least publicly mainstream, people are going crazy about taking on more debts and more credit, right? So all of these individuals will be part of our community once they understand that there is an asset out here that is extremely liquid, that is scarce, and that as you're staking it, it's issuing USDC distributions, right? This is it for today, community. I don't want us to prolong this. I want us to keep it short and sweet. But what I'll do is I'm about to come to you and check with you whether there are any feedbacks or any questions that we want to look at together. and then we can answer those questions together. Let me come back. And let's go through your comments. Let's start here. Queen Cozy says, greetings, BULLRUN family. Happy Thursday. Looking forward to an interesting and empowering session. Remain blessed, BULLRUN family. Thank you so much, Queen Cozy. You are very much appreciated. Thank you for your feedback. And then we have Uncle George is here. Hello, Uncle George. Happy Thursday, Steve, and the BULLRUN ecosystem. It's another opportunity to benefit from informative session. I know there's anxiety about the position of crypto in this bearish time. Let's keep hope. Well said, Uncle George. Absolutely. You know, these uncertain times are causing a lot of panic, and this is why you see the market is really volatile, and you know, a lot of sales are happening, but also because this 360 million worth of liquidations happened. This is why you see the prices really dropped drastically. And even as we speak, let me check. Bitcoin is down to, it was actually down earlier to 62,000, but it's back to 63 again. So it's very volatile. Yes, it's very volatile. My brother Abdullahi says, warm greetings to you and happy new month to you all. Thank you very much, brother Abdullahi. Greetings back to you as well, and happy new month to you too. Brother Dave says, BULLRUN has the healthiest liquidity pool that I have ever seen in the entire crypto space. Let's keep that going. Absolutely. Based on tokenomics, I can see the percentage of BRL staked being above 90% easily. With the true ban in effect, there's nothing that can stop this from happening eventually. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said, with the true ban, obviously, the more supply that is being banned, the remaining supply, of course, gains more in percentage, right? So the remaining tokens will obviously occupy the banned tokens. So this, we hit 84% at its peak. So I truly believe that that's something that is achievable. And this number will put us as the most staked token in the industry, in the entire industry, because Binance is at 84, 85 right now, staked. So once we hit that 90, we'll be the most staked token in the industry. And this alone will put us on the map, right? And our aim is to not only be the most staked token, but obviously the most liquid and the most deflationary, the most scarce, and then one that issues the most staking rewards as well, right? So we want to capture all those four aspects, and that's how we want to be known in the industry as well. It means with no time, the purchasing power of BRL will skyrocket very fast. This is why we always focus on fundamentals, Queen Patricia. We always focus on fundamentals. Everything else will fall in line. So if you focus on the fundamentals, everything else will fall in line. So yes, very true. We need to position ourselves, family. It's about to get down. So Queen Resego says that. Very, 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 very true. Queen Debbie says, it's our time to accumulate before it's too late for us who have been here for a long time. That's very, very true, of course. And yes, finally, the tweet is out as well. So BULLRUN is out, community. The BULLRUN tweet is out as well. So let's ensure that we engage with the tweet community. Let's be sure that we engage with it. And Queen Graced and Favored says, very educative session. BULLRUN Live being deflationary and with true banning mechanism has brought a true solution in staking and giving awesome returns in form of a stable coin in crypto industry. Very well said, Queen Graced Favored. You really summarized it right now. You know, you really summarized it very well. You know, staking plays a major role in this industry. major role. Like we saw, the top 10 applications, projects in the industry are all have something to do with staking, right? Either they're directly only staking, or they have other utilities, but mainly they also have a staking capability. And we realize that they're all inflationary, right? And also they don't have banning mechanisms, right? So this just sets us apart from all of them. So this is really unique, something unique that we have. Queen Sarah says, thank you, Steve, for the education we got from you. Thank you as well for showing up and being part of this session today. You are very much appreciated. Queen Patricia says, let's get in early, family. This is huge. And Queen Nancy says, good evening, Steve and BRL King and Queens. What an informative session. Blessed to be a part of this awesome community. Thank you, Steve. Thank you so much, Queen Nancy. You're very much appreciated as well for always being part of these sessions also. There were queens earlier that asked questions. I would like to go back to them. Queen Lati had something. Queen Lati was saying that about the feds and how they want to integrate cryptocurrencies with the traditional financial system to make, yes. What Queen Lati is talking about here is what not just the feds, but also the politicians were talking about. They want to integrate, they really want to integrate or implement Bitcoin dollar, right? They want to use the Bitcoin to purchase reserve, to use Bitcoin as a strategic reserve currency, right? And this is going to help them in a way that, you remember how we said that Bitcoin is paired with the US dollar, right? So obviously the higher Bitcoin goes, the more valuable Bitcoin becomes, because it's paired with a stable coin, US denominated stable coin. This means that the stable coin will be forced or legally required to purchase more US debt, right? So they literally want to use Bitcoin that is paired with a stable coin that is required to purchase US debt. So the higher Bitcoin goes, the more US debt that is being purchased, right, to back the US stablecoin. So this is what not just the feds, but also the politicians and that also Trump was talking about in Nashville, at the Bitcoin conference, and he was talking about how his goal is that the US would be purchasing Bitcoin on a daily basis for the next 200 years until they have 4 million Bitcoin, right? And they want to use, or they aim to use Bitcoin as the strategic reserve currency, right? And to do that, they have the US dollar's best interest in mind, because that means that more US debts will be required to be purchased, right? And we discussed how stablecoins are going to save the US dollar, right? Because stablecoins are more and more becoming US debt purchases, right? And we saw how JP Morgan have their own stablecoin, PayPal, they have their own stablecoin. Two of asset managers, competitors of BlackRock, they have their own stablecoins also on Ethereum. BlackRock, they don't have their own because they are heavily invested in Circle, which is the USDC stablecoin issuer, and they're also heavily invested in Coinbase, who is co-owner, right, of Circle, which is the USDC issuer. So BlackRock chose USDC as their main stablecoin, right? And this is why they're using USDC to pair their BULLRUN token, which is a tokenized treasury token, right? So this is what Queen Lati is talking about here, is that the feds and the politicians are talking about adding Bitcoin as a strategic monetary system, strategic reserve currency to back the US dollar, right? So that's exactly what's happening. So great input, Queen Lati. Thank you for bringing that up. And who else had something? There was something else we saw from a queen. Let me look at it. I think Queen Patricia asked something also. Let's see here. Greetings, happy Thursday new. We are again listening our dedicated. No, it wasn't this. There was another question. Yes. Yes. Queen Patricia asked, or she mentioned that we're starting to see the light. Bank of England cut interest rate today. Absolutely. Interest rates usually are being cut strategically, right? Because usually it's being done simultaneously, right? We saw Mexico cut it, Switzerland cut it. Now the UK just cut again, actually, today they cut it. So this is great. And now we hear that, even though not said directly, but the indications are that next month, the first interest rate cut is literally at 100% right now, not 99.9, it's literally 100%. They're going to be cut next month, right? Based on the progressions and based on the positive indications that were had or that were, presented by Jerome Powell yesterday, it's supposed to be cut next month, right? So this is, of course, great. So yes, Queen Patricia, absolutely. The light is ahead. We can really start embracing all this great news that is, that is ahead of us, that is awaiting us. So this is great news for us as we see the central banks starting to cut interest rates, especially these large economies, right? Such as UK. It's very important. So US is next, hopefully next month, and then we'll really get into where we really want to get to, right? And that is have the interest rates cuts, have the liquidity flood the industry, and then really experience the bull cycle that we really look forward to. So thank you for the input, Queen Patricia. We have Queen Magechi here as well, saying greetings, Steve. Thanks for the session, indeed, so educative. Thanks for making us understand blockchain technology and cryptocurrency in a very simple way. The more I understand, the more I invest more. Thank you so much, Queen Wangechi. You are very much appreciated. Thank you for your input. Thanks for your feedback as well. And this is the aim. One of our pillars is education. So this is what we aim for. We aim to be a very informed and educated community. And as we are being informed and educated, we aspire to be inspired as well, right? We aspire to be inspired. So thank you so much. We are glad to have you in our community. Thank you for your commitment. Thank you for your feedback. You are very much appreciated. Queen Grace also says here, thank you so much, Steve, for giving us an opportunity in BULLRUN ecosystem BRL token, which is deflationary, scarce, and a true binding mechanism that removes tokens completely from the total supply. Beautifully said, Queen Grace. And there won't be a better way to really wrap up this session with what Queen Grace just said here. Literally, this is what ecosystem is all about, right? It's not just deflationary, but it's also scarce. And using this true bound mechanism, it removes tokens completely from the total supply. This is what you need in a utility token, right? A utility token that has staking capability needs to be scarce. That's a must. That's a standard, right? And this is what sets us apart. So community, I want to really thank you all for your inputs. I want to thank you for your commitment, for your dedication. Thank you for showing up in such great number today once more. Queens, specifically, I want to thank you all because once more, it's majority of the members here today live with us are Queens, and those that are participating with us as well. So I want to thank you all very, very much for always engaging, always participating, and always being so consistent. You're really lifting up this ecosystem, and we are very pleased to have such a large number of queens within our ecosystem. Of course, we thank the queens, the kings as well, for all that you do for the community, all your contributions. You're all very much appreciated. And I just want us to really understand also the importance of what we're doing here, and the importance of your contributions goes a long way. I see Queen Patricia has another question here. What does it mean, especially on killer whale and survivor, being deflationary but total supply remaining the same? Absolutely. To answer this question, I have to change. Queen Patricia, what I mean with this is this. What I mean with this is this. If we look at our supply, right, because this is important to understand, community. This is important to understand. Once more, this is the question, right? What does it mean, especially on killer whale survivor, being deflationary but total supply remaining the same, right? Okay. Once more, ours, we have a true band. True band just means that it removes the supply. The band supply is being removed from the total supply, right? So that one we've discussed. I believe you understand that, right? So now if we go to, let's pick survivor, right? Let's pick survivor. Let's pick survivor, right? So if we pick survivor and we go to Etherscan, right? The total supply, you see the max supply is 10 million, right? And this 10 million remains the same. It's not shrinking, right? So you see the difference is, the difference with BULLRUN is that BULLRUN, the supply shrinks. We started at 1 million in total supply and it's shrinking, right? So it's the true ban, right? It's being, the supply is being, the banning removes token from the total supply. Now this max supply here of survivor and killer whale, it remains the same. However, so it's not scarce that way. Scarce is if the supply was also reduced with like BULLRUN, but it's deflationary. Survivor and killer whale are deflationary because you see here the largest wallet, 6%. This is the ban wallet, right? This is the ban wallet. So survivor's top wallet, only behind the liquidity pool, is the ban wallet. So this is how many tokens that have been banned, right? 6% of the supply is already banned out of a bear market. So it's extremely deflationary. And the beautiful thing about this also that I really want to highlight, right, is that the beautiful thing about survivor and killer whale, and this sets killer whale and survivor apart, is that look at how much supply, right? 100% of the token supply went into the liquidity pool. All of the supply is already in the liquidity pool, right? So this means that this 6% came straight from the liquidity pool. And this is what deflationary means. It means that, yes, the supply remains 10 million. It's not shrinking. So that means it's not scarce, right? However, it's deflationary because it's removing tokens from this total supply and it's putting them in the ban wallet, which is the largest wallet, only behind the Uniswap, the liquidity pool, right? And it's at 6% right now. That's the difference, Queen Patricia. That's the difference, right? That's what we mean. Again, this supply doesn't shrink. It remains 10 billion. It will not shrink. However, the banned supply goes to this ban wallet and it's removed from circulating supply. So all these banned supplies will never see circulation again because this wallet is blacklisted, meaning nobody has access to it. And this supply, look at it as staking. It's staked away. And it will never see the light again. It's even better than staking because people can unstake. This one will never see the light again. So it's deflationary, right? So killer whale is the same. Their banned supply is being put in a wallet. It's a blacklisted wallet. It will never see the daylight again, right? And because we don't have because we don't have a staking platform, there is no reason to make it a true ban, right? So this is why the supply remaining the same, it doesn't matter, because it doesn't have a staking platform, right? We don't have to issue new tokens. So this is why the deflationary aspect of this is more than enough, right? And the reason why we added the true ban with BULLRUN is because it has a staking platform, right? And staking platforms need to have or need to be scarce based on us. This is our standard, because the market, the rest of the industry, is inflationary. All staking platforms are inflationary, right? So this is why when we developed our staking platform, our ecosystem, we decided that BULLRUN has to be different. BULLRUN has to be scarce. You see the supply, it used to be 1 million. Max supply used to be 1 million. Now it's down to 968, and it will keep shrinking, right? And Survivor is not like that, right? Survivor has a banning mechanism that bans the tokens, but the supply remains the same, right? So that's basically what it means. Queen Patricia, I hope that really answered your question. Let me come back to you, community. Yes, so great question, Queen Patricia. I hope that answered your question. Queen Val says here, family, let's go and retweet, comment, and like. Let's engage with the tweets. Absolutely. This is the drill that we really have to also ensure that we do, because this goes a long way, community. And also after the live, let's write all these comments on the comment section and like the video, family. Well said, Queen Val. These are very important things to do during and after the live stream, to comment, like, engage with it, because the more engagement the video receives, the more people it will reach using the YouTube algorithm. So thank you very much for the reminder, Queen Val. Queen Patricia says, thank you so much for 100% answering my question. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm glad that we're all on the same page, because that's very, very important. And this is also today's topic. So it's important for us to all be on the same page. Community, I want to thank you all once more for all your commitment, your dedication, your hard work, your consistency, for contributing to the success of this ecosystem. We are so pleased to see how we are growing as a community, and we are all looking forward and awaiting the interest rate cuts and the bull cycles, the ecosystem, I mean the economy, to be injected with fiat currencies, so that it can be in the hands of the retailers and we can jump on the cryptocurrency. This bull cycle is going to be very unique, and it's going to be a wild one in a good way. And there's nothing sweeter than experiencing success as a community, right? And I know and believe that we all will achieve more and beyond than what we ever dreamed about. And we can only do it as a community, right? This is why it's important for us to stay engaged, stay consistent, and let's keep pushing our project, our ecosystem. It's all because the community, right? It's community driven, right? We're all just part of this large community, and everybody's chipping in and contributing to their best ability, right? So with that said, community, I want to wish you all a wonderful start of the month, a wonderful rest of the week, and looking forward to the next community event. Thank you for taking your time and being here with us today on this beautiful Thursday. And for those that will be listening later on, I hope it was a very informational and educational session. For those that took the time to be here with us, thank you very much for taking your time. So I want to wish you all a wonderful rest of your week. Have a wonderful start of the month, community. And let's keep pushing. Let's keep going. Bye-bye, everyone, right? I see Queen Lathi says, thank you, our teacher, for the explanation. My pleasure. I want to thank you for the input. Thank you for the input. It's very important that we share with each other what we read, what we heard about, or if there are any questions that we should look at. It's really beneficial to the community. So thank you, Queen Lathi, once more for sharing that with us, so we were able to discuss it, and I'm sure it benefited everyone. With that said, community, I want to wish you all a wonderful rest of your week, and let's meet again another time, latest on our next community event, or let's meet tomorrow. And bye-bye, everyone. Thank you for your time. You're all very, very much appreciated. Have a good night. Have a good day. And let's talk soon again. Bye-bye, community.